Hold on. Before you panic sell your DJI gear or start hunting for alternatives, you need to hear this. Because right now, the internet is absolutely losing its mind over 3 massive DJI stories, and 2 of them are exciting as hell. While one of them? Well, it's being twisted into pure fear-mongering nonsense that's causing people to make really bad decisions. So here's what we're covering today. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around for all of it. First, I'm going to cut through the absolute chaos and tell you the real truth about this so-called DJI ban. Because as of December 23rd, the ban has officially happened, but your existing drone is still completely legal to use. Second, we've got major leaks about what might be the most insane FPV drone concept, the Avata 360 with a camera system that's going to blow your mind. And third, we've got leaked photos and details of not one, but 2 different Osmo Pocket 4 prototypes being tested in the wild, and one of them looks absolutely wild. I'm breaking down all 3 stories with every detail that matters. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's real, what's hype, and what you should actually do about it. Let's dive in. All right, let's start with the big one because it's affecting everything else. And there's a lot of confusion out there. So let me make this crystal clear right from the start. As of December 23, 2025, the DJI ban has officially taken effect. But, and this is crucial, your existing DJI drones are still perfectly legal to own and fly. Your Mini, your Mavic, your Air, your Inspire, all still work, all still legal under FAA rules. Nothing has been remotely disabled or shut down. So, what actually happened? Here's the real story. The 2025 National Defense Authorization Act, that's the NDAA, included a provision called Section 1709 that required a national security agency to complete a security review of DJI by December 23, 2025. The law didn't even specify which agency should do it. It could have been the Department of Homeland Security, Department of Defense, FBI, NSA, or the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. But here's the twist that's caused all this chaos. If no agency completed this review by the deadline, an automatic consequence would be triggered. DJI would be added to the FCC's covered list. And that's exactly what happened. On December 21, 2025, just 2 days before the deadline, the FCC received a national security determination from an executive branch interagency body convened by the White House. Based on that determination, the FCC officially added DJI and other foreign-made drones to the covered list on December 23rd. The ban didn't happen because DJI was proven unsafe. It didn't happen because any agency found security violations. It happened because no audit was completed, combined with a last-minute national security determination. DJI had been begging for this audit since March 2025, sending formal letters to 5 different agencies asking them to start the review. They got silence in response. Now, why did Congress want this review in the first place? Some lawmakers believe DJI products could be secretly sending sensitive data back to servers in China. That's the fear. The problem? There's actually no public evidence that this is happening. In fact, a 2021 Pentagon report that was leaked to the media specifically tested DJI's government edition drones, the Mavic Pro and Matrice 600 Pro, and found no malicious code or intent. The report recommended these drones for use by government entities. Meanwhile, DJI has spent years adding security features like local data mode, offline operation, AES 256 encryption, and they even stopped automatic cloud syncing for US users back in 2024. Here's what has actually happened now that the ban is in effect. Being on the FCC covered list means it's now illegal to import or sell any new DJI products in the US. That includes new drone models, handheld cameras, microphones, and gimbals. We've already seen hints of this coming. The Mavic 4 Pro and Mini 5 Pro launched globally, but not in the US. Likely in anticipation of this exact situation. But, and this is crucial, your existing gear is still completely legal to own and fly. Your drone will not be bricked. It won't be grounded by some remote kill switch. None of that dystopian stuff. What will likely happen over time is that you might see slower firmware updates. Though DJI says they'll try to continue supporting existing products, app updates could become trickier, especially for iPhone users who might have trouble re-downloading deleted apps. And eventually, getting spare parts could become more expensive and difficult. Some models might run into FAA compliance issues down the road if future regulations require updates that DJI can't push anymore. It's not an immediate death sentence for your gear, but it's definitely not ideal for long-term ownership. And here's the part that should honestly make everyone pause. Nearly 90% of US police, fire, and rescue departments use DJI drones because the alternatives cost 3 to 5 times more and often perform worse. If DJI gets banned, a lot of these departments would just lose drone capabilities entirely. Add in agriculture, construction, energy inspection, filmmaking, basically every industry that relies on affordable, high-performance drones would take a massive hit. So what should you actually do? Honestly, keep flying, keep creating. If you're on iPhone, definitely don't delete your DJI apps because re-downloading them could become impossible. Android users, save an offline APK file as a backup, just in case. If you're a commercial operator, consider having a backup drone as part of your risk management plan. The reality is, this whole situation is driven way more by geopolitics and political posturing than actual proven security threats. The US government wants to reduce dependence on Chinese tech, lawmakers want to look tough on national security, and DJI is unfortunately caught in the middle. The extreme accusations, still lacking hard evidence. Your existing DJI gear still works perfectly fine and is completely legal to fly. The ban affects new products coming to market, not what you already own. All right, doom and gloom addressed. Let's talk about the exciting stuff. Section 3, Avata 360, the FPV revolution. All right, now let's get into something genuinely exciting, because despite all the ban drama, DJI leaks suggest they've been working on what could be the most ambitious FPV drone concept yet. Meet the rumored DJI Avata 360. And while details are still emerging from various leaks, this thing looks wild. First off, let's talk about what this actually is based on the leaks, because it's not an Avata 2 replacement. This appears to be a completely different concept. Multiple sources are reporting that DJI is working on fusing the FPV drone experience with true 360-degree imaging capabilities. The leaked information suggests prices could range from $999 to $1,200 for a Fly More combo, which would put this firmly in premium territory. So what makes this concept special based on the leaks? Let's start with the camera system. Reports suggest the Avata 360 could feature dual 1 to 1.1-inch sensors for capturing 360-degree spherical video. Some leaks even mention 8K capability. Now, if you're not a camera nerd, let me explain why bigger sensors matter. Most action cams and drone cameras use tiny sensors. Bigger sensors capture more light, more detail, more dynamic range. These rumored 1 to 1.1-inch sensors would be closer to what you'd find in DJI's high-end cameras, which could mean image quality in a completely different league. One of the most interesting leaked details is about how DJI might be solving the FPV challenge with 360 cameras. Some sources suggest a rotating gimbal system that could mechanically switch between full 360-degree capture mode and a traditional forward-facing FPV mode. If true, that would be brilliant. You could fly with responsive FPV control but still have the option to go full spherical when you want that reframe later flexibility. Now, let's talk about the rumored safety features, because this is another area where leaks suggest major improvements. Multiple sources point to LiDAR-based obstacle avoidance that could create 360-degree spatial awareness. Why would this matter more on a 360 drone? Because when you're capturing spherical footage, you're not always framing forward. You might be flying in ways where traditional sensors wouldn't help you. Omnidirectional LiDAR could give pilots a safety net without turning the drone into an overly automated system. Connectivity-wise, leaks suggest OcuSync 4.0 with potentially incredible transmission range. Battery rumors point to significant upgrades over the Avata 2, possibly delivering around 25 minutes of flight time, which for an FPV drone with advanced camera systems would be really impressive. The FCC did confirm approvals for a DJI product matching some of these descriptions back in November 2025, giving legitimacy to at least some of these leaks. The leaked designs show a darker, more aggressive airframe. Everything about the rumored specifications screams premium creator tool, and if the image quality lives up to what the sensor sizes suggest, this could be game-changing for FPV content creation. Imagine being able to fly through a location once, then in post-production, choose any angle, any perspective, any framing you want. That's the promise of 360 FPV done right. Now here's the big question. Will this actually launch in the US given the ban? That's unclear. DJI did get FCC approval for a device matching this description before the December 23rd deadline, which could mean limited US availability for this specific model. But given the current regulatory situation, it's anyone's guess. If you're interested and it does launch stateside, acting quickly might be crucial. This could represent a major evolution in how aerial 360 content gets created. Section 4. Osmo Pocket 4. Dual prototypes leaked. Alright, moving from the sky to your hand, let's talk about what's shaping up to be one of the worst-kept secrets in DJI's leaked product lineup, the Osmo Pocket 4. And this one's getting really interesting because we're not seeing just one leaked prototype. We're seeing evidence of what could be two different versions being tested, and they look different from each other. For context, the Osmo Pocket 3 has been an absolute workhorse for professional creators. That 1-inch sensor, 4K recording, AI tracking, it's basically the gold standard for handheld gimbal cameras. So the question everyone's asking is, how do you improve on that? Well, based on these leaks from trusted sources like Igor Bogdanov and others, it looks like DJI might be giving people options. Let's start with what appears to be a higher-end model. Multiple leaks show a prototype featuring a dual camera setup, and immediately you can see it's bulkier than the Pocket 3. The camera head looks noticeably larger and heavier, which makes sense when you're potentially cramming in two separate lens systems plus all the processing power to handle that. This design matches earlier leaks from multiple trusted sources, so there's growing confidence this is legitimate. Now, other leaked images show what could be a more standard version. This one appears to stick with a single camera module, but that module looks larger than the Pocket 3's lens, which likely means an upgraded sensor or more advanced image processor inside. What really stands out in some leaked photos are physical buttons below the display. The Pocket 3 relied heavily on touchscreen controls, which can be frustrating when you're trying to quickly adjust settings. Physical buttons mean faster manual control, which is huge for run-and-gun shooting. FCC documents that surfaced in December suggest the Pocket 4 will feature a nearly 20% larger battery, 1,540 feinmaße compared to the Pocket 3's 1,300 mAh. Both leaked prototypes show redesigned gimbal systems too, which tells us DJI isn't just upgrading the camera. They're potentially rethinking the entire balance and ergonomics of the device. Here's my take based on the leaks. If there are indeed two versions, the dual camera model would be for serious videographers who need maximum versatility and don't mind the extra bulk. A standard single camera model would be for creators who want meaningful upgrades over the Pocket 3 without turning the thing into a mini cinema camera. Either way, both look like potentially significant steps forward. However, the US availability question looms large given the recent ban. Section 5. Bonus: Mysterious wireless remote. Quick note, before we wrap up, there's one more leaked accessory making the rounds that's worth mentioning. We're seeing images of what appears to be a compact wireless remote called the DJI Osmo Frame Tap based on FCC filings. This looks like it's specifically designed for the Osmo Pocket 4, but with potential compatibility across DJI's action cameras and other portable imaging devices. This isn't a camera itself. It's a small, dedicated controller meant to work with gimbals and action cams. Why does this matter? Because it suggests DJI is thinking more about ecosystem integration. Imagine being able to control your Pocket 4, your action cam, and potentially other DJI cameras from one unified remote. That kind of cross-device compatibility could be really valuable for creators who use multiple DJI products in their workflows. Details are still emerging, but the fact that this showed up in FCC documents alongside Pocket 4 references tells us it's part of DJI's broader strategy. Closing, alright, let's bring this all home. We just covered three massive stories happening in the DJI world right now. First, the truth about the DJI ban. Yes, it officially took effect on December 23rd, which means no new DJI products can get FCC authorization for US import and sale. But your existing gear is still perfectly legal to fly and use. It's a bureaucratic restriction driven by geopolitics, not proven security issues, and you should absolutely keep using what you have. Second, the leaked Avata 360 concept is shaping up to potentially be one of the most innovative FPV drone ideas we've seen, with rumored dual 1.1-inch sensors, possible 360-degree capture with FPV mode switching, LiDAR obstacle avoidance, and impressive flight times. If it actually launches and lives up to the specs, it could be a dream machine for creators wanting cinematic FPV flexibility. Third, the Osmo Pocket 4 leaks point to at least one, possibly two versions coming, with potential dual camera setups, physical buttons returning, larger batteries, and redesigned gimbals. 2026 could be a huge year for handheld creators, assuming US availability works out. So here's my honest take. Should you still use DJI gear right now given everything that's happened? Absolutely yes. Your existing equipment is completely legal, fully functional, and there are still no alternatives on the market that come close to DJI's performance-to-price ratio for most use cases. The ban affects future products, not what's already out there. Make smart decisions, stay informed, back up your apps, and keep creating with the gear you have. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 3 stories interests you most? Are you excited about the Avata 360 concept? Curious about which Pocket 4 version might actually ship? Or are you just relieved to understand what the ban actually means? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown helpful, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future updates. Until next time, keep flying, keep shooting, and don't let the noise distract you from making great content. I'll see you in the next one.